Hello and good morning and welcome to another very interesting episode of your show on Cool TV Channel 196. This is CROSSFIRE. My name is Dr. Banjo and I have with me driving the show as usual my co-anchor Ishoma Againe Barista. Not Colintino, Barista.
Good morning and hope you had a lovely night rest.
All right, I know that the song in the mouth of a lot of Nigerians as we speak is that thank God it's Friday. And I'm saying the same thing, thank God it's Friday. For some of us who have plans, wedding ceremony, and so many other things already planned, for the weekend, I wish you a very restful and eventful weekend. And for us here at work, we just keep wishing ourselves to a very lovely weekend. And we still thank God it's Friday. On Crossfire today, we have some very interesting stories that we'll be looking at. And at the same time, we have a couple of issues to clear the air on as we have, updates on some of the issues that we have brought to you earlier in the week. So this is going to be like a freshness and at the same time, a recap on some of the issues that we brought to you earlier on. And so we'll go straight on to the stories that we have for you this morning. And the number one on the stories to talk about, the eventful and the very bad crisis happening in Ekiti State. Governor Ayodele Fayose imposes dusk to dawn curfew in Ekiti State. The governor of Ekiti State has imposed a dusk to dawn curfew on the state due to the clash between the Hausa community and a section of Yoruba residents in Ado Ekiti. The governor, who announced this when he visited the Hausa community at Tikankan area of Ado Ekiti, said the curfew had become necessary to forestall further mayhem and arrest perpetrators of the violence. He ordered the security agencies to arrest anyone and everyone found roaming the street in defiance of the curfew. Now, the governor appealed to warring factions to remain calm and assured that justice would be done in this particular case. Now, I have stayed, and you will remember, we decided to just stay away from having to start discussing major political issues in states until after the handover. But the issue in Ekiti State has become really very, very disturbing. Reason is just that week in, week out, you have a fresh happening. If it is not about, the State House of Assembly, if it is not about the impeachment process, it will be about, Governor Ayodele Fayose making a very fallacious and, and incisive statements or saying something about the government of the day, either in favor of the government of the day or, against the incoming government. And it's becoming, like a regular day in, day out, week in, week out event. And I just wonder what the state, the people of Ekiti State have found themselves. If the governor, the number one citizen of that state, is involved in all of these, issues week in, week out, armed robbery incidents that took a lot of lives. We had another, incidents that actually claimed a lot of lives because of something, bordering around insecticides, inhalation. And then we have a lot of other killings here and there, like the communal issues that we have in Ekiti State. What is government in Ekiti State like in your analysis? Don't you think they have a state of anarchy in Ekiti State?
Well, I wouldn't want to 100% say that, but one thing I believe is, irrespective of the kind of leaders we have, the call for change is largely dependent on the followers, on the people. So let's also take our eyes off what's happening within the Ekiti State government sphere. And let's look at the lives of the people. How do these people react to certain issues? And like we've always preached on Crossfire, that violence will never be the answer to any form of social injustice. There are so many ways we can tackle our differences intelligently and ideologically without shedding one life, without shedding blood and wasting one life. But then the positive achievements which will have been gotten would even span on forever to helping shaping and strengthen the ties, relationship ties between these various parties.
Now, my concern is that some parties are of the opinion that it's the Ekiti people that are actually being agitated over some certain things that probably are not known to us. I mean, another impression have it that, the Ekiti state are really totally in love with Governor Dele Fayose, and so they believe in his ideologies and his plans for the Ekiti people, especially, when we talk about stomach infrastructure. So I expect that, every Ekiti citizen would definitely have their stomachs on the big side now, knowing fully well that they are feeding or they are, encroaching and they are largessing on the so many beautiful things that the governor in Ekiti state is reeling out to them. And so, if because of stomach infrastructure, the Ekiti people really doesn't mind and they don't give any shoot, when it comes to what their governor is doing, vis-a-vis, ensuring that there is peace, there is harmony, and relatively, governance that has to do with ensuring that the people of Ekiti State are well taken care of. Ekiti State have, a lot of people who are well educated and grounded. They have a lot of professors, and so you would have expected that a state like that will have people on board who are educated, who have insight, who have hindsight, who have foresight, and who will determine and define a very good road path to repositioning Ekiti State, properly when it comes to governance, when it comes to building infrastructures, when it comes to security and all of that. Lives have been lost. There is serious mayhem in Ekiti State. As we speak, you would have expected if, and I don't think, long from now, if this continues, by the time it is May, let's give it like the 4th or the 5th of June. Now we have curfew in Ekiti State. Don't forget that there was a particular time that that a state of emergency was actually, declared on this particular state. And I think they are working towards, having to start experiencing a state of emergency, because it's really getting out of hand, because it's a week in, week out, affair when it comes to violence, killings, armed robbery, one issue or the other, about Ekiti State.
You said it well, but then in my own opinion, I think the call, now the bulk of the call is on the governor, to come out and address these issues. It's I don't know, it's not just enough to impose curfew. Have you been able
going to make life really miserable and difficult for a lot of people who go about their normal,
And even when the curfew, is being lifted, it will not still take away the root cause or the problem. My issue is, well, it's good to impose curfew, but the most important thing is addressing, going down to the root of the problem. What exactly is the reason for these security breaches in the state? Is there something that I'm saying that is inciting the people as the governor? Then he should be able to learn. Because, no life is worth losing, especially because of one individual's political ambition. Governments will definitely come and go, but then the people will always remain there. So I think the call now should be on the governor of the state and then the legislators. What exactly are they doing?
Anyway, for me, I believe that the people of Ekiti State were using this platform to reach out to them and say, be calm and try as much as possible to understand that your life is not worth losing, for any reason. Obviously, this particular area in Ekiti State is predominantly, the Hausa resident, the Hausa community. I just want to, and the Hausa people are peace-loving people. If you have not done anything wrong to offend, them in their settlement or about them going, preventing them from going about their daily activities, they are very business-minded and they are mindful of their environment and their people. There are people on a natural, course who do not want to have any problem with anybody. And so,
the truth is, the reason why we also need peace to reign in Ekiti State also as regards this is, the truth is, I don't think the Ekiti people can do without even the Hausa
people, because they engage in farming
various businesses,
and so many,
which the people of Ekiti would definitely need, for provision of their other amenities. So when you chase these people out, come on, we are a nation united despite our various ethnic differences. I think we really need to learn how to work with one another and put aside whatever issue it is.
And on that note, we want to say, we wish the Ekiti people good luck. Best of luck. And we pray that peace will be restored as soon as possible, as everybody ensures that, security of life and property is very predominant. It's very, very important, that we take note of that. Okay, while we drop that on Ekiti State, let's quickly go to our next story. President-elect received an interim report of transition, of the transition committee, and this particular one is not, a joint effort. It is being done by the constituent of the ingoing government. So President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has received the interim report of the transition committee set up to assist the newly elected president to transit smoothly to the presidency. The committee was led by its chairman, Ahmed Joda. The interim report dealt with issues of good governance, namely the executive, legislature, and the judiciary, finance and economy, as well as core sectors like agri, oil and gas sector, and solid mineral, amongst others. This aligns with the 10-point focus for the newly elected government, and as soon as they get in, they intend to just hit the track and start running. So President-elect Muhammadu Buhari thanked the committee, want to thank the committee for doing a thorough job and presenting an interim report with the time allocated to it. Now, the dimension I want us to look at this story is that I would have expected that the outgoing, committee set up by the president, Goodluck Jonathan, would have been the one to picture or the position of the nation. Tell us the state of the nation,
financial,
exactly, financial,
projects,
across all the economy of the, across all the sectors of the Nigerian economy. Give us a true picture. Let us know how far you guys have fared, in the oil and gas sector, in the agri sector. You would have expected, and I know that President Goodluck Jonathan instructed the ministry, via the ministers, to begin to prepare the handover note. And by now, just barely 6 days, today is the 22nd, just barely 7 days, to the handover proper. We still do not have pointers, telling us exactly what the presidency, what the outgoing government wants the incoming government to know as to exactly where the position of the Nigerian economy is. What is the focus? Where do you would have expected, the state of the nation, recommendation as to what we feel should be done to compensate for what they have done.
True.
Those are some of the things that you should have expected from the committee. But
when I read the story, I had to laugh up a bit, because even the statements which the president-elect said, it also aligned with what I was thinking before now, because I was wondering, could it be that the outgoing administration, they are afraid of indictment? And then look, he said, after expressing his disappointment that the outgoing administration refused to provide the committee with all such necessary information, he went on to say, and I quote, "It is not that we are preparing for indictment. We are trying to get, all what we're trying to get is a starting point. Where exactly are we going to start from?" And that is the reason why, that is one of the reasons why the incoming administration, they're very, very particular about the handover note. But then could it mean,
Ishama, that the outgoing government really do not have a clue? They don't even know the state of the nation. Because I would have expected that by now, they would have just been adding to whatever they are presented to the incoming, government.
I think they're fully aware of the state of the nation, but then, look at the issues like the debts, the debts which the nation has accrued over time. Your handover note should be able to tell you what the monies that were borrowed were used for, and the rest of that. So if they see that, even if you put all of these things on paper, it will not probably tally. So of course, they'll be afraid that the incoming administration would also want to probe them. So I think that could be one of the reasons why they abstain.
All right, let's quickly take this call before we go on our break. Good morning, Cyril.
Please. Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
Cyril.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling. Can we just go ahead with your contribution?
Just a quick one.
All right.
I find the tenor of the discussion not too pleasant. I'm not seeing fair arbiters on the screen. I'll expect to see fair arbiters.
In what sense?
The two, in all that they say, I mean, it's like there are established positions they've taken. And I find that both on Ekiti and what they are saying now on the press, on the handover. Now, to the best of my knowledge, what the outgoing government did was to appoint some, and also the incoming appointed some, and the two are working together.
Really?
That is the information we've been having. That is in the public. That is in the public space. And so, if the two parties are working together,
can I quickly interject you, Mrs. Cyril, that the president, the incoming government, led by the General Muhammadu Buhari, said they are not getting positive feedback from the outgoing government? Did you read that?
Have you seen
Hello,
that?
sorry. Did you also read that there is a joint committee working?
Yes.
Shouldn't
Did you read that there is a joint committee working?
Yes.
Did you also read that the MDGs have their reports will be submitted on the 28th in a formal ceremony?
Do you think if you are occupying a position, if you are going into an office, you need just one day before you take up that position to know exactly?
Sorry, now there is a team working together.
Is
so
that
it's not
how
one
it should
day.
be done?
And that is where I have my difficulty with you.
Okay.
There is a team from both sides working together. So it's not a one-day affair. So you cannot even infer that much of what Ahmed Joda is submitting is not part of information that he's getting from the meeting of the two teams.
Okay.
Really?
All right. Thank you for your opinion.
I find the assumptions that are aligning the opinions you're expressing rather over the board.
Okay.
Well, that's your opinion, Mr. Cyril. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
All right, thank you so very much. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, we will yet be talking about the state of the nation as it has to do with the transition into a new government. We'll be right back.